Good morning dear students. Hello and welcome to the online video classes. Today we are going to study history, and the first chapter which we are going to study in history is A Changing Time. So dear students, today we will cover these topics in our video class: period of transition, Renaissance, discovery of sea routes, discovery of new sea routes. Let's start with period of transition. Period of transition. When we will study about the history, history can be divided into three parts: ancient, medieval and modern. We are presently in India, living in a traditional or transitional period of our history. The transition being from feudal agriculture society to modern industry society or industrial society. A transitional period is a period of a great turbulence and turmoil as a study of the history of Europe from 17th to 19th century. When Europe was passing through its own transition reveals. In India, we can take the transition period after the death of Aurangzeb. During this period in Europe, when Europe was passing through its own transitions, during this period in Europe, there was a great turbulence for social chronic chaos, revolutions, intellectual firmament, and there were theories of Voltaire, Rousseau, and the other encyclopedias which were advanced. It was only after going through the fire that modern society emerged in Europe. Now we will study about the Renaissance. Renaissance was fervent period of European culture, artistic, political, economic rebirth following the Middle Ages, generally described as taking place from the 14th century to 17th century. The Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, literature, arts, and some of the greatest thinkers, statesmen, scientists, and artists in the human history thrived during this era, while global exploration opened up new lands and cultures to European commerce. The Renaissance is credited with bridging the gap between the Middle Ages and modern civilization. During the Middle Ages, a period that took place between the fall of ancient Rome in 476 AD and the beginning of the 14th century, Europeans made a few advances in science and art, also known as the Dark Ages. The era is often branded as a time of war, ignorance, famine, and pandemics such as the Black Death. Some historians, however, believe that such grim depictions of the Middle Ages were greatly exaggerated, and though many agree that there was relatively little regard for ancient and Greek Roman philosophers and learning at the time, there were some great intellectuals were at that time as following: Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1590, Italian painter, architect, inventor, and Renaissance man responsible for painting and the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Galileo, 1564 to 1642, the Italian astronomer, physicist, and engineer whose pioneering work with telescopes enabled him to describe the moon of Jupiter and the ring of Saturn, placed under house arrest for his views of heliocentric universe. Nicholas Copernicus, 1473 to 1543, mathematician and astronomer who made first modern scientific argument for the concept of heliocentric solar system. He was the one of the well-known astronomer from the Renaissance. Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes, 1588 to 1679. English philosopher, author of Leviathan. He was one of the greatest author of Renaissance period. Geoffrey Chaucer, 1343 to 1400. English poet, author of the Canterbury Tales. He was one of the greatest author and poet of his time. Dante, 1265 to 1321. Italian philosopher, poet, writer and political thinker who authored the Divine Comedy. William Shakespeare, 1564 to 1616. England's national poet and the most famous playwright or writer of all the time, celebrated for his sonnets, plays like Romeo and Juliet. Raphael, 1483 to 1520, Italian painter who learned from Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Best known for his paintings of the Madonna and the School of Athens. Michelangelo, Italian sculptor, painter and architect who carved David and painted the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Renaissance, art, architecture and science. Art, architecture and science were closely linked during the Renaissance. In fact, it was a unique time when these fields of study fused together seamlessly. For instance, artists like Da Vinci incorporated with scientific principles such as anatomy into their work so they could recreate the human body with extraordinary precision. Architects such as Filippo studied mathematics and to accurately engineer and design immense buildings with expensive domes. Scientific discoveries led to major shifts in thinking. Galileo Descartes presented a new view of astrology and mathematics, while Copernicus proposed that the sun, not the earth, was the center of solar system. Renaissance art was characterized by realism, naturalism, and artists strived to depict people and objects in a true to life way. They used techniques such as perspective, shadows, and light to add depth to their work. Emotion was another quality that artists tried to infuse their pieces. Some of the most artistic works of Renaissance period was the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, Statue of David, the Birth of Venus, and the Creation of Adam. Discovery of new sea routes, or we can say Renaissance exploration, the age of exploration. While many artists and thinkers used their talents to express new ideas, some Europeans took the sea to learn more about the world around them. In a period known as the Age of Discovery, several important explorations were made. Voyagers launched expeditions to travel the entire globe. They discovered new shipping routes to the America and India, and Far East explorers wrecked across these areas that were not fully mapped, but famous journeys were taken by Christopher Columbus, Amerigo, Marco Polo, and some others, such as in 1453, the Turks captured the Constantinople and traditional land trade routes to East come under their control, since there was a great demand for Asian goods in the European countries. It means in 1453, Turks has captured a new sea route. In the year 1488, Bartholomew Diaz sailed down the western coast of America and reached its southern tip, which he named the Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope. In 1498, Vasco da Gama successfully reached Calicut in India in year 1498. In year 1499, Amerigo discovered the America. In year 1499, Amerigo discovered the America. So dear students, today we have covered these topics in our video class. Period of transition, Renaissance, discovery of new sea routes. In Renaissance, we have studied about some scholars and intellectual personality of that time. In discovery of new sea routes, we have studied about the route to America and India and other routes also. In our next video class, we will study about the rest of the topics like Reformation, Revolution in industries. Till then, have a nice day and thank you.